All right, welcome to the first module in your home buying journey. This is where it all begins. Look, I thought the best place to start is with your deposit money because you ain't buying no property without one. All right, so what is a deposit? How much do you need to save? What's the minimum deposit that you need to put down? What does loan to value mean? And what happens if you've been gifted a deposit? Like, how does it all work? These are all questions I'm going to be answering for you guys over in the next couple of sets of modules. So I'm really excited to get started. And I know for a lot of you guys, getting a deposit together can be the most difficult part of the process, right? You might be saving every last penny with parents, sacrificing holidays, nights out. You've taken a second job to get the money together, and it's all with the view of getting your first step onto the property ladder. All right, it's not easy, I get it. And I take my hat off to you guys who are still going through the process. I've got one thing to say to you, and that is to keep going. All right, you can do it. I know you can. Now look, for the first part of this module, I'm going to talk you through the basics, right? What is a deposit and why do you need one? All right, and I think the best way for me to explain this is probably through an example. So let's say that you wanted to buy a property for £200,000. Now, unless you've got £200,000 in the bank, you're going to need to borrow some of that money from what's called a mortgage company. All right. Now, the problem is the mortgage company won't lend you the full £200,000, and that's where a deposit comes in. All right. They want to see some sort of financial commitment from you. All right, so the deposit is essentially a down payment from you in order to secure the mortgage loan, and they're usually referred to in percentages. So a 10% deposit would be £20,000 for a £200,000 property, or a 15% deposit would be £30,000 for a £200,000 property. Now, the mortgage company covers the difference between the deposit and the value of the property. So if you put in a 20k deposit for a £200,000 property, the mortgage lender would put in the difference of £180,000. Now, look, once upon a time, before the last financial crash in 2008, you actually didn't need a deposit at all. You could literally borrow 100 to 125% of the property's value. You know, so if we were to use the previous example of £200,000, I could have borrowed the full £200,000 without any financial commitment from me. You know, in fact, at the time, I could have borrowed £250,000 on a property that was only worth £200,000. That's insane, isn't it? The banks were willing to lend you money with a 0% deposit, plus they were willing to give you an extra 25% on top. It was honestly unbelievable. You know, but unfortunately for all you hard savers out there, I don't think we'll be seeing that again. And it didn't work out too well for the bank when the financial crash happened. You know, but it's worth taking note of the bank. That they were called Northern Rock. So Google them, look it up. It's quite interesting, but they're not around anymore. Anyway, that was pre-2008, so a long time ago. And I will see you guys very, very soon.